Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Good morning, everyone. Cold morning. All right, Madam Clerk, you wanted to give us a roll call?
Sure. Tom Duffy.
Here.
Stacy Hetzel. Here. John Righeimer. Brian Bissonette. Chris Russ.
Here.
You have a quorum of 3.
Okay, wonderful. How about certifications?
This meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. Okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, the meeting agenda has been set. Anybody have any additions or corrections to make to the agenda? Hearing none, I will stand as presented. Public comments. Is there anyone here that wants to be heard?
Molly will be here in a minute.
Okay.
She has her report. Okay.
Yes. There are none. Okay, then let's go on to the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting.
So moved.
Moved, seconded, Chris. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed, no. Very well, they're covered. Okay, Surrey County Fair.
I think he's on his way. Could you move that in the agenda?
We'll move to the bottom of the agenda then. University of Wisconsin Extension, anybody here?
That would be me.
Okay,
I'm a dual role today.
okay,
So my name is Donna Nucky. You know me as the librarian for winter, but I'm also the UW Extension 4-H and Positive Youth Development Educator for Sawyer County. So I wanted to share some information. I've only been in the position since March. The position prior to me was open since July of 2021. There was nobody in that position. So I wanted to share some information. 4-H is part of my position. The positive youth development is the other part, but they really intertwine well because you're working with youth and bringing opportunities to youth and having youth input on things. I just wanted to share a little bit about 4-H though. A lot of people, 4-H brings really strong components for youth that I think we all would agree with, and is for youth to be themselves, to discover new skills, explore new opportunities. That creates a sense of belonging together, building connections, and also there's a big give back to community component. Last year in Wisconsin, there were 22,264 youth members and extension volunteers. That would be your community members that are volunteers in that program. There were 7,093 of those. 90% of them say volunteering in 4-H makes community stronger. We have a variety of opportunities in Sawyer County. We work closely with Area 2, which would be Washburn, Rust, Sawyer, Burnett, Barron, and of course Sawyer County, or Washburn, Rust, Barron, Sawyer, Burnett counties, where we can work together as educators to bring opportunities to
thank you.
all youth in these areas, but especially to Sawyer County. So that I'm one person, but working and collaborating with other educators helps bring more opportunity for our youth. The first month that I was in the position, I did a SWOT analysis, which was analysis with the 4-H leaders, trying to discover the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats that they felt with programming opportunities in Sawyer County. And we had strength that they felt they were strong with their membership. And the weaknesses, a lot of it was communication, not having an educator and being able to promote programming in Sawyer County. Some of the opportunities that they felt strong in were the volunteering opportunities. And they felt that they were strong in programming. It was the communicating those programming to the youth. And some threats, of course, all of our families are so busy doing so many things. I mean, we have tons of youth that are involved in other activities as well. So going from there, I have been working on expanding access and communication in Sawyer County. We have newsletters that are sent out to our members. We attend open houses, lots of social media posts, flyers, brochures, articles in the newspapers, and then we also have a connection. We try to go and have information booths. We were at the LCO Farm Barbecue and Community Fair, and of course, We work closely with the Sawyer County Fair. And then enhancing our partnerships and our relationships, because we didn't have an educator for about 9 months. Of course, we lose some of the strong relationships that had already been created by previous educators. So I've been working on increasing and bridging that as well, and then increasing new opportunities with new partnerships. So some of the partnerships we have are with youth, volunteers, our Area 2 colleagues, local schools. The Hayward Library will be doing programming again this summer, the Winter Library. We do our camp down in Bruce, and that's a cooperative partnership with West County. Of course, LCO, we're trying to continue the relationship and bridging with them, and opportunities for their youth to be involved as well. And then they have opportunities that we can be involved, which is great. Sawyer County Fair, and then of course, the Heart of the North Legislation Committee we've talked about before. And then experiences and opportunities. It isn't just 4-H, like I said, it's positive youth development. So every youth in Sawyer County get the opportunity to participate, which is great about my position, because I don't have to just focus on 4-H. I can focus on the whole community and the youth and families. So some of the things we did were this summer, we took youth to Discover Wisconsin trip, where we take them outside of our area and expose them to opportunities outside of Sawyer County. We want them to be participating in Sawyer County, but we wanted them to experience a STEM school. So we took them to University of Green Bay, where they have a STEM resource center there. We did some zip lining and some collaborative group working together as team building skills. We provided day camps during the summer for Hayward area, and then we had a day camp in Winter area, overnight camping. We just finished our series of Taste of 4-H. That is a 4-H related thing, but everybody can participate. So we had opportunities with, I did story solvers. They did engineering opportunities, STEM opportunities. We had healthy lifestyles and cooking opportunities. I believe we did a natural science opportunity as well. We just completed our fall forum this last weekend, where all the youth gather down in Madison and they share their story. I shouldn't say Madison, it was Wisconsin Rapids. It used to be down there. But they share their story and provide workshops for our volunteer adults and for other youth that are in 4-H. And then we have Space Camp coming up. We have applications available for Space Camp to go attend that. And then we're super excited this year because we have a youth, and it's the first time, and I would say I've been a part of 4-H as a leader for 12 years. We haven't had a youth go to National Congress, which is in Atlanta, Georgia at the end of this month. So we have a Sawyer County youth that has applied and is accepted to go to that and represent Sawyer County at National Congress. We have a Project Discovery series coming up, where we are working with international partnerships to expose our youth to different tracks that we're creating. Like I'm doing animal science, so an international animal science track, and we're working on building that right now. That will be in the spring. And then we've created a youth leadership day that we're going to have at Hunt Hill as well. So all youth are invited to participate in that training day. So we have opportunities and experiences that we're getting out there to the youth, getting out there to the families, and always are looking for more partnerships to create. We have talked about youth voice is so important. So youth are on a lot of these planning committees as well. So getting them active, and then I know Andy has brought up before, some of our other counties have youth voice on the county board, and that's something that we would be interested in exploring. Maybe you would be, we could talk about that. But youth voice and input is important because we want them to be passionate about their communities and be involved. So you may see extension, we're over in forestry department. If you see our door closed, a lot of people think we're not working, but that means we're out in the community. And that's where we should be, because that's what extension is bridging, what opportunities out into the community. So I'm always open for new ideas, always open for new partnerships and opportunities, and feel free to contact me.
Okay, good, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Okay, if not, let's move on to Haywood Lakes Visitor Bureau.
Okay, sorry, last month I was really sick and I had laryngitis, so I didn't even go online. So, so I just wanted to touch a little bit on, last month I was gonna show you all the publications that we either sponsor or we completely pay for. What I'm trying to show you is how we might give 50,000 to Haywood Lakes Visitor Convention Bureau, but it trickles down into all the other organizations in the area that we help out. So I can pass around these, but last year, 2022 or 2021, the Explore map was not even printed because we couldn't get enough advertisers. So we did pick it up and we paid for the whole thing last year. This year they did find more advertisers, but this is a very popular map. It has the county on one side and the city on the other, and all the tourists, they love this because they love to look around on the county roads and then they can get around in the city just fine. So I will pass these around. We do a fall color tour, which is the whole entire county. There's 6 color tours on there. It takes you all over the county to look for fall color. Also, when people come in and they're like, hey, we're just here for a couple hours, we're killing time, we want to go up to Bayfield, but we got a couple hours, we'll give them this tour. And they can just drive around, look at
Keep it Sawyer.
wood and water, just in Sawyer County. Navagaga River, we wrote a grant on this one, so this advertises the river. We did that with 3 other counties that are on the river. Bicycle map, remember when John used to come and this is what he did? Well, we continue to do that for him, even though he's moved off, he moved away and retired. So we still do that. We just have this little flyer we hand out at Sportshops. This we did with you guys, Sawyer County years ago. It's the outdoor map. We still hand them out. Kind of shows people where they can hunt. It shows the lands and stuff. It's a very nice, if you're any kind of an outdoorsy person, this gives you all that information. We do a hiking and biking and skiing map. And this is just this is just where tourists can go, you know. So the more popular trails, and we show the in town nice paved trail, how you can get around. It shows you the key here if you can hike, bike, skateboard, whatever. It will tell you where you can do it. We also wrote a grant on this for the Flambeau. So we just have information on at River. And then this is our big piece that we do every year, which kind of encompasses everything in Sawyer County. The new one just went to print last week on the 31st. So that this will be updated in a month. And then we help the Sawyer County Historical Society. What I do is I just buy these from them and then we give them to us. So just showing you kind of how that trickles down. And then, then I kind of made a list and I handed that last month and you guys probably looked at it, like all the different things that we sponsor, different events that we help sponsor, or if they need a little help with marketing, if they need, the Ojibwa Community Club food races, that was me this year. That was something we helped them out with because they have been struggling to get the word out. They were only getting like 50 people, and now they're reaching out for getting more people to participate. Anyway, so continuing on my report. Stoneville Friendly Community Designation. It's been 4 years already, so we are in the process of renewing that. Kathy is helping out with that, and it has to be in before January 1st. So that's kind of the big thing we're working on right now. I wanted to touch on that DMO grant. It was kind of a one-time thing in the state of Wisconsin with the whole pandemic and the whole COVID. They gave this opportunity to DMOs if you could come up with something. I mean, we had like 6 weeks to come up with something and write the grants, then they would consider giving you some funds. So we threw together a silent sport campaign. So I've gotten all the information now. They've been here filming, taking pictures. We're working on a logo and all of that. And so next year we will launch all of that, but it's been completed. And I still have a few bills out there, but then they've already paid the 89,000. So that's why when you look at my budget, it looks a little bit higher. Because we did collect those funds, but I am still paying for all of that. And we will we wrap that up. We wrap that up in January. Again, like the vacation guide, the 2023 went to print, and we did up it again another 5,000. It's crazy. People still want the hard copy, so we're gonna handle 80,000. This year I was begging some of my members, please bring back your guide. So I did find 250, so I got 250 till the new ones come. But we're cutting it pretty close every year. People just love our guides. Wisconsin Department of Tourism. So I did write that destination marketing development grant, and that is to kind of have us figure out our brand. Maybe you just reinforce that we're doing it right, or if we're totally off the mark. And that's 15,712.50. We will get those back after I spend it. We're working with the DRG company, so they're professional research companies. So they'll come in, no biases, and they'll come in and they'll interview locals, tourists, and then just find out what everyone's thinking, and then kind of give us some information on where we should go from there, if we should rebrand or just keep doing what we're doing. Extranet, I just want to remind you that Extranet is really big. That is with the Department of Tourism. So if you were to go on to Travel Wisconsin and Google Hayward, everything that comes up, my office puts in. Just so you know that it's a big, overwhelming website, and we have to go in to each business one time a year. And if we don't, then we get a little nasty note that says, are they out of business, or what's going on? So I just want to let you know that that's something my office takes care of. That's really, it's a big process. But in the summer, it's really nice because we have the summer staff, and usually they can log along with some of that stuff, because usually year to year, not a lot of stuff changes, but it's just time consuming. And then I just thought for fun, I would show you this little graph and then a word cloud. So in the month of September, people who were Googling us, the words that are the biggest, like Hayward attractions, was the biggest word that they typed in the most times. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then the smaller the words, but anyways, that just kind of shows you a little snapshot that people they're looking for something to do. So that's great. So they've already probably planned their vacation here, and now they're looking, hey, what can I do when I get there? So I kind of just put that out there just for something fun. And then this is free PR that I try to keep up on. I have the Google business page. The Google business. Yeah, but I have the I can't think of it right now. Anyway, anytime it says Hayward or tourism, or I do have like fishing, I have muskie, some of those words. Anytime those words are used in any kind of news, then I get a letter.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the term either. Can't think of it.
Like 8 clicks or something.
I'm gonna tip my tongue.
Google alert.
Google Alert.
Alerts. Google alerts. So these are the ones that I've been alerted about. Some, there's a lot that I miss, but I just want to give you every month what I do find that they're out there talking about us. So, any questions?
Any questions? I got just a couple on the grant from the state of Wisconsin to
Yes.
promote silent sports. What is that for? Only for print, TV, radio? Or how do you
It's for
promote it?
everything.
Oh,
But I use the 89,000 to grab the stuff to use to advertise. So I hired film, so they took video of all these silent sports.
Okay.
And still photos they put together a logo for us. So then when we do launch it in print or TV or whatever, I've got all the B-roll and everything to go with it.
And then on the Wisconsin,
Like we're doing, last year, we sponsored Berkey. They have a commercial at the beginning that you can pay for. And I had nothing. We made up a little winter video with pictures and old video that I have. Well, this year, Bo Peterson's putting together a beautiful.
Hmm.
For years that want to come in here, even if you're not skiing.
so on the Department of Tourism, how was that grant? How do you? what's
So that
specific-
grant is they only paid half, so I'm gonna have to pay 31,000 to the DRG to collect all.
What do you do? What do you?
I don't have to do much. They're gonna do it all. They're gonna do all the research and they're gonna tell us what they found. They're
Okay.
gonna interview, people who live here, tourists who visit us. They'll maybe go to someone and say, hey, when I say Hayward Lakes, what comes to mind? And if everybody says fishing, well, then we better make sure everyone's fishing.
Okay.
If they say cross country skiing or Berkey, then maybe we need to realign what we mark it.
Okay. And you can.
Then after this big research, then after they tell us what they find, then I can go back to the state and ask for more money to then implement any changes or,
Okay.
and that will be like the GEM grants that I write, where you get 70%, and then the next year you get 50%, and then the third year you get like 30%.
And you can apply for next year for the grant also.
Yes.
Stacy,
Are all of the flyers that you handed out, are those available online too, or like with the maps? Like if somebody was out in the woods and needed to see that map, is that available online or is it just in a flyer format?
Oh, the outdoors one, or that, no, that's too old, that's not online.
Okay,
But anything that's on in our vacation guide is online. Our hiking, that map is all online. Our fall color is all online, and actually that is in Google Maps. And you can just sit in your car and it'll say turn left,
okay,
turn right.
that's good to know. I just was
Yeah.
wondering if that was an
But
option.
the hunting one, no.
But well, I mean, there's other avenues for that, but I just didn't know if
Yes.
they were all in.
Well, the majority of the new ones that we do, everything goes online.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
okay. Any other questions? Anybody online with any questions? No? Okay.
I got one, Chairman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So on your Google alerts here, that tells, all the biggest birds that have been brought up.
Yeah.
Nothing for ATVs?
Um,
It's kind of a big deal right now around, so it's like,
yeah, this.
I mean, there's 1.3% for golfing. There's not even that much of a percentage for ATV people looking at the area,
No.
really?
Guess not it. Now, this was September. Interesting. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, considering what's in front of the board right now, regarding ATVs and.
But in the past, it has,
We-
I know her reports have
Now,
changed.
the other thing could be, because this is, I wonder if, because I have atvhayward.com is what I advertise. No, because that wouldn't be with our website. That's just Google. Huh. Maybe they're finding everything they want already Hayward through atvhayward.com. I'll investigate that. I'll find out where ATV falls in.
You just think that would be a search, ATV Hayward would be a good,
because they're finding it
right?
and they're coming.
Yeah, they're here.
They're here.
Maybe it's all the ATVers are like, what are we gonna do when we get here? So. Interesting. I'll do more digging on
All
that.
right, thanks.
Good point, Chuck. Okay, any other questions? If not, let's move on to Northwest Regional. Anybody here from there? Okay, economic development,
Okay, that's me.
you're on.
So, I'm Kate West, and I'm Kate Bardo, and I'm the new executive director. I also work with Canva, just so you all know, the Mountain Bike Association. So if there are different times where I can be of help there, I'll happily, give some information. So this weekend, so just some updates with what we're doing for economic development. This weekend, we do have a placemaking event at La Coudray at Big Fish Golf Club on Saturday. So it's from 9 to noon, and it's similar to the one that we did in Hayward several years ago, or not several, but like a few, I guess. But basically to look for identifying strategies to promote what they have, and then basically enhancing the connections between key destinations, looking at 4 specific places: the Travel Plaza, the LCO Ball Field, the Landing, and the Reserve Pavilion. So if you do have ideas or, are connected to those places and want to see certain improvements, then just, you can come along or even shoot an email, and, it's just a place making, like, for some brainstorming. More heads together are better, right? So there's that. Just some things that I've been up to personally of getting into the role is a lot of networking and meeting people within other economic development organizations. We attended the Small Community Forum in Washburn just this last Thursday, where we had a lot of civic leaders, elected officials, and then Economic Development Association folks were there. Heard a few case studies, like the Washburn Club, how they revitalized that and worked together with some grants and, to open it to the public. And I don't know, like a Bumblebee Garden, a couple other things. So, but it was good. Mostly like for the networking was incredible. So, let's see here. I've been meeting with different businesses who still qualify for the Main Street Bounce Back Grant, which is the $10,000 if it's a new business that has opened or will open before December 31st. If they open their doors and someone, they will qualify for $10,000 from the state through the Main Street Bounce Back. And it's also expanding. So if they're expanding their business or if they're changing hands, so if they're purchasing the business. And the idea is that if they didn't purchase the business, then the doors would be closed. So there was more money that was given to that program, and it seems to be pretty successful in a lot of, I think, I can't remember how many we've received in the county, but it's around 30, I think. I don't know if, I'm looking at Sherry because Chris and I talk about that a lot. Kind of work together with the chamber. So, but it's a decent money, or it's a decent amount of people who have benefited. So it's great to see. I did submit a grant on October 31st to Northwood Tech. So that is a grant with Impact 7, which is a nonprofit housing group, and they're looking to give $3 million grants to build 30 to 40 units of living space in a community learning center. And so we'll just wait and see what happens with that. And then we'll have to find space and see even if it's an option. So, but that would be pretty exciting. Let's see here. Basically just making as many connections as I can. And then also with, people in this room and then in the community to see if we can not overlap, but like work together and divide and I hate to say divide and conquer, but like really make a difference in our community. So, and things that will make a difference. And then there's a couple more grants from WEDC that are coming that will look to apply for the Vibrant Spaces grant and the Ally grant, which is basically helping nonprofits to get off the ground. So we'll hope to look at those, but not just to apply for grants for fun, but actually make sure that they're going to be a good part of our communities. And that's all I have.
On the $10,000, is that a grant? They don't have to pay it back.
Nope. It's just a grant. So any new businesses, expanding businesses, or businesses who have been recently purchased by December 31st. That's the deadline date. So basically, there's anybody that's opening January 15th, you should tell them to open.
So Kate, you're becoming our monthly meetings now.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Yep, I'll be here.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, she took the place of Mike, so
Yeah.
you're used to Mike. She's a better option.
I probably talked a little too fast, but that's,
You're
they
fine.
get
We like that.
excited.
Okay, Chad, any questions?
No.
No. Okay, thank you much. Let's move on then to the library updates. Molly, you want to go first? Or who goes first? Who?
All right, so first of all, I noticed in my case to put this document together with the numbers. if you go, it's Sherman and Youth West Community Library grants and special donations, and by special, I mean much more than typical. So if you go 3 up from the bottom, under Wisconsin Library Association Annual Fall Conference Grant, it should say $800 for 2021 and $900 for 2022, which we just got back from on Friday. And 5 up advanced printing was in kind, but wasn't it $300 for them to laminate?
Or more.
And yeah, at least 300, they, yeah. It was a big break. So I just wanted to point that out because Stacy had actually asked for this a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was a really good idea. I had not ever just put those numbers together. I don't think you were here, Donna, when she asked about that. And then I wanted to point out pictures from a recent party that Anne had planned, like the direct Anne had, and for Halloween, and I didn't know the term for stuffed animals is Duffy now, but that apparently is how kids refer to them. But I just put a bunch of pictures together to show how many people were here, and it was a total of 130, correct?
From the morning and the evening.
Yeah, it was 2 different gatherings, but a lot of the same people. So it was so fun for us because it's the most kids and parents do here in the library since COVID. So it feels like it's getting back to more of a normal situation. And I did want to point out, I trust everybody either heard me speak at the last county board meeting or in here. I don't think a lot of people realize that our total budget is way more than we asked for from the county. And it's around 394,000, a little bit over that. And when the county does cut us, I mean, basically, it's almost a 50-50 deal. The county's funding us at about 50%, and we have to come up with the rest. And if we are cut this year by that $10,000, it will affect the library, and we're trying to figure out what we could do to make up for it. And right now, it looks like we would have to close 1 day. And also we'd have to decrease programming for children and adults. And one of the things that I would be really upset about is our take and make kits. Because they've been so popular. There's still some people who don't want to come out into public or are wearing masks, and they pick up books and other things at our back door. They just call us and let us know when they'll be there. And
What is that?
pardon me?
What was that? It's a program?
Take and make kits are something that, we just basically assemble a kit in a paper bag to create different things. And Anne is scientist by education. And so she does a lot with math and science. And I don't know, can you give a couple examples of?
Well, with the science, I had the rainbow. We gave away plastic cups, baking soda, vinegar, colored water, and an exploding rainbow. I did a story time along with it on Facebook, and it was out on YouTube. And then just recently, it was almost the same thing, talking about how water flows. I did food coloring, things like that, and paper towel. And you connected the paper cups and water and how it flows from one to another, so.
No, I understand that, but the purpose of it is for people to like drive through pickup or something, or?
If they want
It's
to.
part of it.
We started it during the pandemic when a lot of people were just driving up and picking up bags of books. And we check them out ahead of time the whole bit. So anyway, it's convenient for parents who are in a hurry. As they can just either drive up or run into the library and pick up kids. Some people have 3 kids and you have to get the same thing for each one of them. But anyway, they come with instructions and we assemble them, and they're not cheap, and we were so excited this past year that we were able to use some of the library foundation donation money to increase the number of kits we prepared, and you handed a survey, and it's one of the most popular things. So I just want to point out that it will affect our ability to serve the public at the level that we are now, and just asking one more time to reconsider.
I don't know if there's even an answer to this, but for the size of your budget, as well as it, I don't remember the total numbers as far as above and beyond what is necessary to give. It just seems like for 10,000, it just, I'm trying to, my words. Seems like a lot of hoopla for $10,000, almost symbolic, to give it or not give it.
$10,000 goes a long way when you have a bunch of librarians who are used to making things work. That's all I can say. We're not extravagant.
No, a lot of my take and make kits, I use recyclable materials. If you went into our library during the summer, I had fish made out of plastic water bottles. We did a craft with that. I do toilet paper, tissue paper, a lot of economical,
Yeah.
not for much money,
We
but
save
it
money
adds
where we can, basically.
because it does add up when you do like 50 a week during the summer.
So is this something they check out or is this something that they pay for?
It's
They
free.
keep,
Everything that we do is free to the public.
Well, somebody's
except
paying
for
for it,
photocopies.
so somebody's paying for it.
We
nothing's
are,
free.
yeah. Yeah.
Or the taxpayer, but so to get back to your point, so the formula is about 123 or something like that. So for the last 5 years, I believe it was that Mike gave us the report for was $200,000. And then last year in our November vote, a donation was brought up right before our November vote. So it wasn't planned to give 210 and it wasn't concurrent. It wasn't every year. So $200,000 has been what has been budgeted for the last few years. So it's not, the 210 was never considered for the future. It was a one time last year, is from the understanding of the vote when I was voting, but
Gotcha.
And last year, a lot of the monies went to actually give more of a living wage to the clerks.
That's the
They
reason we
were
asked
at,
for the extra.
they were at $10 and some change, and the base pay for starting was $15. So
Now,
now, with that additional funding.
so we don't lose anymore.
So what the state demands is significantly below.
Correct.
So if every county in the state did what the state wanted to do, we'd see libraries shutting down all over the place.
No, because Winter and Hayward are somewhat unique in that the municipalities, not all, but most libraries are city libraries, municipal by name. But Act 420 came about years after Sawyer County had already started funding us. And the other libraries get funding from their municipality and from the county. And our funding is from the county and anything else we can make in donations.
Did Hayward
Anyway.
used to fund?
When I started here in 1995, is after I moved up here and got the job, I was told that the city was no longer able to fund the library, and that it was because they felt they had given for years and years and years, when they're actually the number of circulations that went out were higher than surrounding townships than in the city of Hayward.
But can you remind me, isn't all of your checks and all of your financing run through the city of Hayward?
Yes, by statute, the city does in-kind services, and we couldn't make it without them. They do our payroll, they allow in and need to be under their insurance. And
So that's not on here though, that in kind from the city of Hayward is not on here.
No, and I apologize. I wouldn't know how to put a number on that, but it's by statute. They have to do it. Unless we became a county library and that was investigated a couple times. So. So that's the situation other libraries. are in.
Thanks.
If your request is cut by 10,000, specifically, what will you have to cut? What won't you offer next year that you had last year?
Well, the first thing we thought of was because the staff wages are primarily made from that increase last year. We'll have to close down a day a week, which we don't want to do. And then also we talked about extra programming for children and adults and some of the kits that we put together, which can be expensive by the time you do 50 or more of them.
Okay. And then how did your Link Aquatic program go?
Oh, that was basically handing out the Link Aquatic from Minot. The
Oh,
tickets that,
yeah, that was part of the summer reading program. They gave us free passes to anybody who signed up for the summer reading program.
And that
we had talked about.
was that a big success or not, or will you do it
Yeah.
next year or?
Yeah, I gave you the numbers in the infographics a while ago. I don't have it here with me.
I think I have.
But our sign up went quite a bit higher, and I think a lot of that, some of it was driven by having the free links, family pass per day.
That was that for this year, wasn't it?
That was the summer.
Yeah, because I just have 2021.
Oh, yeah, I have.
Yeah,
I
2022
have-
isn't done yet, yeah.
Well, no, I gave the summer reading program. Infographic.
For those kits, would people pay a few dollars for that extra? Because it sounds like it's a big service you're doing for them.
We, libraries are encouraged strongly not to charge for anything beyond photocopies and faxes and things like that. We're encouraged by the system, but we're really encouraged by the Department of Public Instruction.
No, I know, but that was a program created because of the COVID for a convenience that wasn't there in the past, but people
Mhm.
seem to like it
Mhm.
now that COVID's gone, we think. Now it's just it's like above and beyond customer service.
Yeah, well, people get used to that kind of thing because they move up here from the cities.
Or that specifically.
Well, no, of course not. But they're used to levels of service like that. And in fact, we hear all the time, well, back in Minneapolis, we blah, 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 our libraries, and we're trying to keep the community happy. We're just trying to stay up there
Understood.
at the same level.
Thanks.
Mhm.
I have talked to a few of the city supervisors and they would entertain, they said that they haven't been asked in several years and would like to revisit that. At least that's the verbal conversation. So you may want to try that as well if the county votes no.
That would be great, Stacy. I do know, the mayor used to be on my library board. And he was very adamant about a couple different times about the city not funding the library, but if I will absolutely talk to them. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions from Molly? If not, let's go to Winter.
Okay, I submitted my report, but I wanted to share, since you're talking about municipality funding, I do attend 7 different municipalities every year and share our budget. I do get some funds from that, but it's $100 here. I think Town of Winter does give us $5,000. That's why our budget is, I believe, just over $96,000. So most of our funding is from the county, but we do municipality visits, and ask for financial support. We have to be careful how we word that.
Yeah,
My
I was
in-kind-
gonna say
In
that.
my in-kind services though, for our fiscal agent, which we're required to have by the state of Wisconsin, a municipality as our fiscal agent is really the town of Coeur d'Alene. which is kind of ways, but instead of giving funds directly, they give us their in-kind services that way. So that's actually a positive thing for us. It has been.
That's serving like the city if you were just for that.
Yeah, so we are a joint library. We did that a few years ago because we had the Village of Winter was our fiscal agent and they had decided that they did not want to provide that service anymore. And so we had to have a fiscal agent identified. The area municipalities came together, said we would like to show support by being a joint library. All it does is it actually helped the county save money. And I'll tell you how is when somebody from outside of our county checks out a book, right? Or we get paid for that service, right? Well, when somebody in one of my municipalities, one of the 7, I have the town of Coudray, town of Radisson, Village of Winter, town of Meadowbrook, and town of Draper. When somebody from there, since they're part of a joint library, checks out a book from, let's say, Washburn, they're considered library to us, so we don't get charged. The county doesn't. I shouldn't say we, the county doesn't get charged for that service. So it has, over the last couple of years, this has only been since 2019. If you look at the history year, and I don't have the statistics, but your out-of-county payments have actually dropped of what we're paying throughout counties outside of Sawyer County. So it's kind of, even though we were in tough times about 3 years ago when we were reorganizing our area, it actually was a benefit to us because we do have, like, you know, support in our area for our library, but also it helped save money for the county going outside of the county, so your library monies could stay inside the county. I just wanted to share some programming things. I think you had mentioned last month too, but Winter's part of the Out We Go state park program, where we were all given 50 state park passes for free, and any library patron can come and check out a state park pass for a 1-day use. So there's no expense to that other than the time of the staff putting together the packets for that. Tonight, hopefully, knock on wood, we'll approve our policy for our Verizon hotspots so we could get those out to community members and library patrons that don't have access to strong internet service. Fundraising is huge in the library world because we have to make up the difference in our budgets. And I think I asked for this year $2,788, and we're going to fundraise through, I think we added a couple fundraisers this year. And then of course we get donations. The other part, $2,788. So I increased our budget a little bit over 6%, and I asked for a 3% increase from the county. So we'd appreciate if you would still consider funding us that increase. I've applied for 2 grants. I won't hear for a couple months whether we get them, but STEM kits for public libraries. So there's no cost to that other than we will, hopefully, if we're approved for the grant, because it is a competitive grant, that we would get some STEM kits where we have some homeschool families in our community, as well as just youth that don't have access to some of that, and families. So it's a great way for families to work together and do some science, technology, engineering, and math related activities.
Is it through that institute?
No.
Oh, okay.
And then another, I just lost it, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. We applied for another grant. It's a collection development grant. So obviously with the way that our, everything is increasing in cost, so any kind of collection development we can get to help offset the cost of the book costs helps us. So these are a couple of grants, like I said, that are national grants. So it will take a few months before we know whether we get them or not. And I think that's all I had for today.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, let's move on. How about the fair? You got any response on the fair?
Yes, so this next year, we moved it back 1 weekend, just because of being 5 weekends in August for the next couple of years. We moved it back 1 weekend, we do this 16th to the 20th, 17th to the 20th rather. And we kind of, this last year, the events that we added, we ended up with some car stuff on Friday night, car stuff on Sunday, so We had a lot of people that camped or stayed in hotels all weekend because of that. This next year, we changed it. People riding on Friday night, power stuff on Saturday and Sunday. Just to make it better for the drivers and stuff. Friday night with the weather, our numbers were down a little bit, but overall, our numbers overall for the whole weekend were up. So now at this point, I have 90% of the fair planned for this next summer, contract signed and carnival, everything's ready to go. Other than getting more vendors and trying to fill up space. So we're planning on, one of the things that we're planning on doing with the hillside is trying to tier that hillside, so it makes better seating and make it safer. Because at some point, we're gonna have to replace all of our bleachers and steps and stuff going down the hill. So we're trying to be proactive and do things make it a little safer.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Can you remind the new board members what the money from the county is used for the fair?
Yes, so our budget for the fair is usually about 70 to 80,000, somewhere in there to put on the whole fair. The county, we always ask, I think, if 35 is what we've usually gotten in the past. The last couple of years, we've asked for extra to no maintenance has really been done other than what's come out of our own pockets. So like mowing and everything up there is all in my free time, all the gas spent on mowing is all out of my pocket. So the money that we get from the county helps actually put on the fair, and every year since I've been in charge or been involved, we've tried to make it bigger. Add more events, taking things away that were money wasters. And just adding things and trying to make the fairgrounds better for the kids and be a better draw.
Have you had any luck renting out the facility?
It's rented quite a bit this summer. We rented it for fairs, or not fairs, sorry, weddings. There was graduation parties. So there's a little bit here and there. A couple years ago, we visited trying to offer indoor storage, but there was some other stuff going on, so we just tabled it. Because insurance would have to change and different things. But as far as it being rented through the summer, this year it was rented quite a bit. I want to say it's nice venue for having a wedding. And then we purchased from 4-H, we ended up purchasing all the tables. And so, and then I got a donation from the casino. So we have all the tables and 300 chairs. And so it ends up being a pretty nice place for different things. It's, you know, for $500 to have your wedding at a venue that you indoor building or outdoor building is pretty cheap.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you. Let's move on then to motorized trail.
Well, I'm excited about the trail counter data. I've attached a report for you, just kind of an overview of what data I've been collecting. When I break it down further, it shows, I didn't include this report, but the days of the week, like Saturdays, of course, are the heaviest ATV use. 155 can be expected on the Sealy Hills trails every Saturday. That's what the average is. So that trail system gets a lot of use. Tuscobia, 232 on Saturdays is the average use. So that's another, you know, highly popular trail system. I've installed, there are 5 counters out there. I have 1 left to install. I just had a few hiccups with my scheduling, and it's pretty time intensive to get those set up and operating, but I'll get those up before snowmobile season. Upcoming trail closures, county forests, those ATV trails stay open until snow grooming starts, and then only ATVs that weigh 900 pounds or less can use those throughout the groomed snowmobile season. The state land trails, the Tuscobia does remain open all winter, other than it closes from November 15th to December 15th during hunting season, just for safety. And then that reopens. Flambeau Forest closes November 15th and stays closed throughout winter. The federal forest lands like the Chequamegon and Dead Horse Trail, those do stay open all winter long until spring fall closure. And then road routes, of course, are open all winter. We really don't expect a lot of traffic, ATV traffic over the winter months, but I suspect people will be, you know, out riding to restaurants, stores, Just things like that, ice fishing, a lot of ice fishermen use, or ice fisher people, I guess is the correct term. They'll be on their ATVs and getting onto the lake for fishing. I recently met with Bert Jackson, and I'm very excited to for that liaison. She's a wonderful person. We're planning an ATV ride. We had experienced some conflicts with the bike races. There's a lot of bike races held on the Sealy Hills trails. And so the ATV trails, we only have 3 main trails, 31, 77, and 8. And they utilize portions of those for their bike races. In the past, I don't think it was as much of a problem, but with the growth of both of our sports, we're starting to see some conflicts. So we're going to work together on a solution for that, so that both of our sports participants, when they come here, they can fully enjoy what they come here to do. And we are planning an ATV ride. I was recently sick, so that was put off for a little bit here, but hopefully within the next week, we'll get out and take a look at, our trail maps are hard to lay over. The biking maps don't call their trails, 8 and 77. So it's really difficult when we're talking to each other to envision where we're having the problems. So getting out there and actually getting on the trails, it'll be clear, and then hopefully come up with a solution.
Okay, anything else?
No,
How about the ordinance, Alliance? How is that coming? Are you satisfied with that or?
well, we aren't satisfied. I've been working kind of behind the scenes with Gary Geddard on a resolution. The sticking point was the once a year, that you can only ask for it once a year, which the Alliance standpoint is that we shouldn't be restricting tax-paying residents and businesses from asking for something from their county to once a year, because no other services are restricted. And so that was a sticking point with us. Between Gary and I, we've come to twice a year that I think we can work, since he's willing to move the dates to something that works better for us, to April and August instead of January. A January date doesn't work for me. For the Alliance, we're in the middle of the snowmobile season and we are busy. I get all the complaints, I get all the requests, that all the issues come to me, and to think of, I just want to clear my plate of ATV stuff over winter is my goal. So if they move those 2 dates, we can work with the twice a year if we have to. It's not ideal.
What is ideal? Unlimited or?
Unlimited or quarterly. I think quarterly was proposed at the last meeting, and I thought that was a good compromise.
And what's the reason given for limiting requests to administratively?
Well, I think it's a couple things. It's appears time consuming to them. And then signage. Once this ordinance is passed, the county highway department will be the ones installing the signage. And if it's just, I understand what he's trying to do, group it together so that, his highway department people are not every month putting signage up. I understand that. I still feel that no other county services are restricted. You can apply for any other variance or a driveway permit anytime. And to me, this is a service. So it shouldn't be restricted, in my opinion, but I'm not going to win that argument.
Okay. But the discussions are going on.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
We say you won't win that argument. What does that mean?
Gary's adamant about,
Gary would be the ultimate decision maker.
I think so.
That's
Well, I could be wrong, but
All the committee has to approve it.
right.
Okay, well, we stay tuned.
But he sounds very powerful.
gonna retire in 50 days. It won't be as powerful after that.
Right.
Okay, let's move on then to the non-motorized. Let's see, the lumberjack activities are now run by the Berkey, and those dates have been set for next July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The Brook of Minor has just completed a roller ski track and a walking trail paved at Telemark 5K. And the registrations now are approaching 9,500. They expect no problems in hitting their 11,000 target date for the Berkey. And on Thanksgiving, they're going to have again this year, a Turkey Berkey ski camp, and they will have hopefully 5Ks of artificial snow for early skiing. So I think that's about all I have. So let's go to Andy, and we can talk maybe about budget issues. What where the pinch is going to come at the next board meeting from our jurisdiction here.
We'll just, on the agenda, I had asked Lynn to put on the courthouse fees, kind of the schedule of fees on all the committee agendas. Just in case there's any questions or any specific ones that wanted to be discussed. It shows all the updates in there. It really doesn't apply to this committee though. People we talk to in this committee don't really have any fees. But outside of that, I mean, budget wise, you've seen the budget presentation at last month's board meeting and had the hearing. That's kind of, at that point, administration turns the budget over. Actually, before that meeting, it's in the hands of the board. So we don't make any more changes unless the board wants them made. So if you want changes, I mean, I imagine the committees could make recommendations out of the committee to have budget amendments. Then I think they'll go to the finance committee. And we're going to talk Thursday's finance committee meeting about any budget amendments they want to make and get those prepared. So at the board meeting next week, those can be introduced and approved or denied by the board. And then the board is also able to make changes on the floor like it was done at last year's meeting, like Stacy had mentioned. I think probably my comments in general on the budget is, you know, we are taking more revenues into the budget, like sales tax and primarily sales tax, and going into the general fund a little deeper than has been done this year. So that just makes it more difficult. I mean, we can get through next year. It just makes it more difficult going into the 24 budget if those revenues aren't there. I mean, we aren't using all the sales tax that's projected, but if the economy really goes south and we don't have that sales tax revenue, it makes it more difficult to go. We have any unusual occurrences, out of county placement of human services, or some of the liability we don't anticipate, it'll deplete our general fund, which will make it not available to us in future years. So it's just, I bring that up because I've had a couple departments comments saying how this year's budget process was a lot easier than in other years, and that's in part due because of the additional revenues, and also I think I'll give Tom and Mike a lot of credit because I know what their budget was like 5 years ago. They did a lot of work with the departments to get it in much better shape going ahead. So, but yeah, there's not a lot of pinches, but just be aware that we are using a lot of revenue that might not necessarily be there in future years, and then we have to.
But for this year, the groups that are looking at a cut by the library, how about the Visitors Bureau?
Well,
No, okay,
the library is the only one that has a reduction from 22.
okay.
And that senior center is getting less than they want, right?
Less than they want, correct.
But not.
But more than they,
Yeah.
but more than they've gotten in the past.
Right.
And the grants that you got from the Visitors Bureau, hopefully that's not going to affect her request.
It didn't. I mean, we left it at the 50 that was funded last
Okay.
year. I'm well aware of the conversations, you know, of being budgeted 10 and it's
Yeah.
adjusted to 50. And yeah,
Okay.
I can let Sherry expand on the grants, but generally you don't want to, the DMO grants, the GEM grants, you need to have your base funding in place. You really don't, you don't replace your operational money with the state money.
And if I may just interject, I would like to say that then we couldn't fund any of these because they all request they all request grants, they all request outside
Sure,
sources.
yeah.
So every single entity would be cut based on that
I agree,
evaluation. So
but
it's
it's nice
kind
to
of
have a
a
heads
null
up
and void.
to look to see where the problems are.
Correct, but the people that argue that point of
Yeah.
any place getting grant money or getting dollars for room tax or things of that nature, that's above and beyond what we have scheduled, and they shouldn't be penalized for that. So
Yeah.
that argument should not even be considered when we're looking at all of the operational budgets.
That's true, but when there's money pinching, then they look at those sort of things and so, yeah. So we're prepared. We're prepared. Andy, how about broadband? Anything new with broadband?
There's some new money that's gonna be coming through the federal government to the states. There's no timeline on it, but it's probably another 40 million, I believe, coming into the states.
So, and you're still working on a map, so we know what in the world's covered, what's not covered?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
Okay,
Stand out in the woods. You'll know that you're not covered.
yeah, exactly. Okay, good meeting. Anybody else have any questions or anything else? Linda, you're awfully quiet back there. You have no comments today?
I sent an email to the members earlier.
Okay,
So please
yeah.
read that.
All right, anybody else have any questions, John?
No, I'm good.
Chris?
Nope.
No, okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.